Coca-Cola.
Corporation. For 1982, Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis. Brewers of Michelob. Put a little weekend in your week. By Exxon. We're Exxon, working on energy for you. And by Radio Shack, a Tandy company, your nationwide supermarket of sound. Welcome back to the Orange Bowl in Miami. Bob Costas along with Bob Trumpy. Number 56 is Lance Mell, the starting right side linebacker for the Jets. Now he's disappeared behind some of his teammates. But if you get a look at his right foot, a trainer's trunk weighing about 100 pounds dropped on it in the locker room before the game. It required 5 stitches to fix his toe, but nonetheless, he says that he will start. The Dolphins have won the toss. Pat Leahy will kick off. Fulton Walker, who wears number 41, rookie from West Virginia, standing at the goal line. He's the deep man. Walker has driven a couple of yards back into the end zone, and he'll bring it out. Across the 25, breaks the tackle, loses the ball, and it's out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. Ron Crosby was the man who hit it. The Dolphin running backs, Tom Vigorito and Andrew Franklin, as we'll take a look at their lineup. They lost Woody Bennett and Tony Nathan to injuries. The number 1 draft pick, David Overstreet, went up to Canada, but Vigorito and Franklin have stepped in and been very pleasant surprises for Don Shula. Harris, Moore, and the tight end, Ronnie Lee. Moore has been limited to just 5 catches so far this year. Offensive line, Giesler gets Klecko, and Laxo gets Gastineau. Those will be interesting matchups to watch. For the Dolphins, from their 33-yard line, David Woodley. First down carry goes to Andrew Franklin, and Franklin is stopped by a combination of Joe Klecko and Abdul Salam. Here's the 4-3 defense. Gastineau 4 sacks last week. Klecko has had 1 in each game for a total of 4. Salam and Lyons are the tackles. Mel, as we told you, playing hurt. Buttle and Blinka are the other linebackers. Jerry Holmes starting in place of the injured Bobby Jackson, who has a calf injury. Schroy and Ray are the safeties. Ray has 3 interceptions this year. Donald Dykes is perhaps the weak link at the left corner. Woodley will throw on 2nd and 8. He has the first down, complete to the tight end, Bruce Hardy. Hardy is into Jet territory at the 49-yard line.
15 yards on the catch and run by Bruce Hardy. To put this game in perspective, the Miami Dolphins have had a 3-year record of 29-13 against the NFL, 0-6 against the Jets. And the Jets are a well-known defensive team. Miami is going to chink it down the field as best they possibly can. And that's the first down of the ball game for the Miami Dolphins.
The series dating back to Miami's entrance into the old AFL in 1966 has been one of streaks. The Jets won the first 8. Then the Dolphins won 14 out of 16. Now the Jets have won the last 6 in a row. And the pitch back to Andrew Franklin, and Franklin gets 2, maybe 3 on the play.
Bob, we have a change in the starting lineup for the Miami Dolphins. Steve Howell is in the lineup as opposed to Tommy Vigorito. A last-minute change. 2nd-round draft choice out of Nebraska, Audra Franklin. Last week had an outstanding football game, and he's that thunderous fullback that has been so characteristic of the Miami Dolphins. Larry Zonka is the guy I'm speaking of. He can carry the load.
2nd down and a long 8 upcoming for David Woodley. Woodley has beaten every team in the AFC East in his young career with the exception of the Jets. He is 8-5 as a Dolphin starter. Franklin gets the call once more, and he's stacked up. He was a blocking back primarily, Bob, at Nebraska, blocking for the likes of Jarvis Redwine, I.M. Hip, and Rick Burns. They all had 1,000-yard seasons. He was somewhat overlooked.
I think he's the only one left in the game, too. Watch this push up front by the Miami Dolphins offensive line, and then great recovery by the linebackers. The front 7 of the New York Jets, their 4 defensive linemen and their 3 linebackers. I can't believe there are 7 stronger people in the NFL on defense than those 7.
On 3rd and long, Cepalo is in as a 3rd wide receiver. There's Nat Moore in motion. Johnny Lynn, who wears number 29, is in as the nickelback for the Jets, and there's another New York sack. where they left off. Marty Lyons got there first, number 93, and Abdul Salam finished it off.
One of the things about this New York Jet defensive line, they're all four very, very strong. And even though the defensive ends, Klecko and Gastineau, get all of the print, there's Marty Lyons. You know who he beat? Bob Kuchenberg, 5-time All-Pro, one of the best offensive linemen in the business. Sack number 1 for the Jets on the day.
Bruce Harper, who in each of the last 4 seasons has led the AFC in total offense, rushing, receiving, and return yardage, awaits the kick from the rookie from Ohio State, Tom Orris. He was signed as a free agent. Orris with a low returnable kick. Harper fields it at the 15, 20, 25, and out to the 28-yard line with a flag down on the play. While we sort out the penalty, let's check with NFL 81 in New York for an update.
It appears the Baltimore Colts are going to lose to the Buffalo Bills for the second time this year. This is the kind of day it's been for Burt Jones and the Colt offense. Bills just smothering them. Bills out in front 23-10 in the fourth. Bob?
Thanks, Bryant. We've got 11:29 showing on the first quarter clock at the Orange Bowl. And the referee, Dick Jorgensen, is about to render his decision. Jorgensen, the ref, John Keck, the umpire, Lagori Haggerty, the head linesman, Boyce Smith, the line judge, Roy Clammer, the back judge, Royal Cathcart, the side judge, Dick Dolak, the field judge.
5-yard face mask foul, number 36, kicking team, first down.
I make a point that the New York Jets are the most penalized team in the NFL this year. 44, now 45 penalties. And the Miami Dolphins have historically been a very, very low penalized team.
They had 19 penalties. The Jets did against Cincinnati. The Bengals accepted 14. Last week they had 15 penalties against the Oilers. Won the game in spite of that. Todd DeFrino. And McNeil goes virtually nowhere. McNeil, the third player taken overall in the draft, the Jets' number 1 pick, taken after George Rogers was grabbed by New Orleans, and Lawrence Taylor, the linebacker, was taken by the Giants. A.J. Dewey made the tackle, number 77.
And once again, back at linebacker, there's the receivers of the New York Jets. Watch Wesley Walker, 4 catches for touchdowns out of 22 in the last 3 years.
As you look at the offensive line, John Roman is starting in place of the injured Marvin Powell, who is still bothered by that knee, which kept him out of last week's Houston game. McNeil is in motion. On second down and 9. Todd with time, fires wide open, and the diving catch is made at the 30-yard line. Pulled down by Bobby Jones, who had come in as the third wide receiver.
30 yards on the catch, and one of the reasons that the New York Jets have this 6-0 stat against the Miami Dolphins for years is that they get ahead quickly. And it takes the Miami Dolphins out of their offense, which is run the football, establish the ground game. Bad coverage. The Miami Dolphins appeared to be in motion. If you saw at the line of scrimmage when McNeil went through the entire set, there was a great deal of confusion. That's obviously something that the coaches of the New York Jets picked up from watching films of the Miami Dolphins. 1st and 10 on the 29 of the Dolphins.
Richard Todd, a week ago, hit 25 of 39 for 312 yards and 3 touchdowns. Wesley Walker pulled in 8 of those for 128 yards against the Oilers. A first down pass by Todd to the sideline, and the catch is made. Derek Gaffney pulls it in. A pickup of 9.
This is good field position now, and also a great position for the New York Jets as you look at the defensive front 3 of the Miami Dolphins.
We'll also see a lot of Kim Bocamper in pass rushing situations. There are the 4 linebackers. Dewey, perhaps the most active of the group. Ed Taylor starts in place of the injured Don McNeil.
Taylor, a former New York Jet, too.
Yeah, they cut him. Don Shula saw something in him. Blackwood, the leading interceptor on the ball club. He's picked off 3 so far for the Dolphins. 9:15 to play. Mike Augustiniak. And Augustiniak has a first down for the Jets. The Jets have forced the Dolphins to throw the ball a lot in their 6 consecutive victories. 2 reasons for that. They have shut the Miami ground game off on 1st and 2nd down, and they have also jumped ahead in most of the games. In 5 of the 6 Jet victories over the Dolphins in the last 3 years, New York has scored 24 points or more.
Well, if they're patient here and don't make the mistake or have a penalty to kill their drive, they're going to be on top again first.
From the 18-yard line, it's 1st and 10. Gaffney comes in motion. They give it to Freeman McNeil, their leading rusher, who's averaging better than 5 yards a carry. He gets 3 to the 15, where it will be 2nd down and 7. Another update from New York as we join NFL 81.
Okay, Bob, before heading for the bus, the Colts have scored one final touchdown, this one coming with less than a minute left in the game. Burt Jones, 14 yards to Ray Butler. It's just going to make it close. Going to go to 3. 1 and 4. It's 23-17. Bob?
Okay, thanks, Bryant. So, if Buffalo is, as we assume, 3 and 2, if the Jets can beat Miami here, the Bills will be within a game of the Dolphins in the AFC East. A Miami victory would open the gap to 2. Todd fires into the end zone, touchdown, Barkham. Jerome Barkham, the tight end, with his 14th reception of the season, and the Jets are in front, 6-0.
Interesting thing about Jerome Barkham, he began his career as a wide receiver. They moved Rich Castor inside, then they traded him, moved Barkham back inside. He's not a big tight end. He plays somewhat like a wide receiver, not a great blocker, but he can get open. And Richard Todd, there had to be something wrong with the coverage. There are 4 guys within the space of about 3 yards. There's 2, and there's 2. Great catch. Coverage by Blackwood, not good enough.
So now Pat Leahy comes on. He is 8 of 8 on his point after tries this year, and now make it 9 of 9.
One penalty on the drive, too, which has been very uncharacteristic of the New York Jets. Normally, they get 2 or 3 penalties in every drive. Walt Michaels got to be very happy.
7 minutes and 52 seconds to play. Quarter number 1 at the Orange Bowl, and the Jets in front after their first possession, 7-zip.
The defensive genius of the Miami Dolphins, one Mr. Arnsparger, is not going to be very happy. That defense has been one of the things that's allowed the Miami Dolphins to bring along their young offensive players. When they set up there in the offense, Woodley, you compare experience in the NFL, not years.
New England has finally won one. They're 1 and 4. They beat Kansas City 33-17. And evidently Baltimore has struck again late in the fourth quarter of that game, but Buffalo is on their way to a victory. The Cardinals, as always, playing Dallas tough. That's in St. Louis, 2017. St. Louis leads it in the fourth quarter. NFC Central battle. Minnesota with Tommy Kramer back and healthy, leading the Bears by a field goal in the fourth.
Richard Todd, 3 of 3 for 59 yards on that drive to 3 different receivers.
You're looking at Pat Leahy, who is in his 8th season out of St. Louis University. He never played any college football. They don't play college football anymore at St. Louis U, but he did play on 3 NCAA soccer champions and was signed by the Jets as a free agent.
Didn't the Jets and the Giants start the sidewind kicker fad 15 or 20 years ago with Pete Gogolak?
Well, Gogolak was among the very first, and his brother Charlie. Fulton Walker to bring it out. Walker veering to the left sideline and gets to the 25, maybe 26-yard line before being stopped by Al Washington, number 52.
And what's wrong with me? Our broadcasting buddy Jim Turner was a kicker for the New York Jets for years and years and years and years. He wasn't a sidewinder. I stand corrected. I apologize.
The numbers on the Jet drive, with Barkham hauling in the touchdown pass from Todd, which was Todd's 7th scoring pass of the season. He threw 3 against Houston last week, 3 against Cincinnati a couple of weeks before. He was blanked against both Buffalo and Pittsburgh. The Jets 7, the Dolphins nothing, 7:40 to play, first quarter at the Orange Bowl. Hot and humid, temperature up around 90 degrees. Motion along the line, a free play by Woodley. They swing it out to the tight end Ronnie Lee. And Lee is to the 29-yard line with flags littering the...
I think we have offsetting penalties here. We're going to have a clip on the Miami Dolphins, and the official had to throw his hat because he'd already thrown his flag because Gaston will jump offside. So it'll be a washout. Offsides, Jets. Personal foul clip, Miami Dolphins. That was on the guard that came out to block for Ronnie Lee.
Well, we have a moment here, something worth noting. We've already given you the officials, and there's a visual that enforces that. 15 consecutive games for this offensive line and Woodley together, and the Dolphins think that's important.
Yeah, as I said, when you compare experience in the NFL, when you look at the Miami Dolphins offensive backfield, you've got to look at games, not years. And they're very, very young people. There's the final score, Buffalo over Baltimore in the AFC East, or as they called it last year.
Offsides, number 99, defense, illegal block in the back above the waist, number 64, offense, penalties. Still first down.
How about that? The Cowboys absorbed their first defeat of the season. The Cardinals win for the second time this year. 20-17 is the final. Neil O'Donoghue, with 23 seconds remaining, connects on a field goal from 37 yards out. 20-17, the Cardinals win it over Dallas.
So Miami could be the only undefeated team after this Sunday, right?
Vigorito and Howell are the running backs. They set Howell off on a wing on the left, and Vigorito off to the right side as Woodley retreats and flips it out to Vigorito, and the rookie gets a very rude reception, led by Joe Klecko, number 73.
Great coverage by the New York Jets. There was nothing there whatsoever. Now, Joe Klecko comes from the other side of the line. He is on the side of the defense. It's obviously a stunt inside. He sees the screen, comes across the line. This guy's one of the strongest, quickest defensive linemen there is in the business. And it'll be second down and about 14.
Welcome to those of you who have been following the Baltimore-Buffalo game. Bob Costas with Bob Trumpy at the Orange Bowl in Miami, and Tom Vigorito carrying on second down and 14 is drilled. No gain, maybe a loss of one. Greg Buttle from his left side linebacker spot comes up to grab him. Vigorito, who, as you may recall, had an 87-yard punt return for a touchdown in that Thursday night game early in the season against the Steelers, is primarily a pass receiving threat. As a running back coming into this game, he carried 19 times for 36 yards. That's an average of less than 2 yards a carry.
So why'd they give it to him?
Especially on 2nd and 14, which now becomes 3rd and 15.
Did you answer my
in a roundabout way?
Why'd they give it to him? Probably nothing more than deception.
Woodley now needs 15 to keep the football. He fires, and it's incomplete. Intended for Cephalo with the coverage by Jerry Holmes.
Now, this is very consistent with what's happened between these two football teams the last 3 years. The New York Jets, even though they've had their problems with other teams, they are 6-0 against Miami. Woodley now 2 of 3 for 10 yards. The Miami Dolphins have 1 first down so far, and there's 6:01 left to go in the first quarter.
The numbers on Oris so far this year. Harper is standing at the 35-yard line of the Jets, who lead it by a score of 7-0 with 6:01 remaining in the first quarter. A high spiral, not especially deep. Two Jets collide with one another. If one of them touched it loose, the Dolphin fans think so, and so does the official.
Yes, sir.
The ball belongs to Miami. Steve Scholl, number 52, comes out of the pack with the ball.
That's a 49-yard punt by Oris. And what happened was the man in coverage by the Miami Dolphins pushed the defensive man. Let's see if we can pick up numbers. There's Harper waiting for the catch. You'll see somebody coming in quickly. That's 41 Fulton. I believe hits 20. It's 26 Dykes. And the ball is free. And recovered by, who did you say recovered it?
Steve Scholl recovered it. Harper had no intention of making a fair catch, which is what he should have done.
It wouldn't have helped, though. I don't think it would have helped one bit, Bob.
So now the Dolphins with a chance to move in for the tying score. Howell and Vigorito are the backs. Woodley runs the option and keeps it. Woodley across the 20. Woodley may go in. He's inside the 5-yard line to the 4, where it will be 1st and goal, Miami.
Yards on the carry, and how many professional head coaches would put their quarterback in this kind of jeopardy? That's how much faith that Don Shula has in Mr. Woodley, that he'll, 1, stay healthy, and 2, that's a great weapon, because there is no defense in the league to defense a quarterback and running a football. They don't do anything for it.
Not a broken play. The option is absolutely part of Miami's attack. They will use it. They practice it during the week.
Miami ran the option 6 times last year against the New York Jets right here in the Orange Bowl. They lost, but it was an effective weapon.
1st and goal from just across the 4, and Andrew Franklin runs into a stone wall.
Once again, that defensive line rises up. That was David Woodley's long as a Miami Dolphin, 24 yards.
Andrew Franklin, the 13th running back selected overall in this year's draft. He was the last player taken in the second round. 7 running backs went in the second round, 6 went in the first, including David Overstreet, the #1 pick for the Dolphins, but he flew the coop and went up to Canada.
I wonder if he likes it up there. They've only won 1 football game.
Vigorito and Franklin now are the backs. Hardy, the tight end, on the right side. They're going with 2 tight ends. Ronnie Lee is on the left, and now Woodley sees something he doesn't like and asks for a timeout.
I don't believe he had the right people in the formation to run the play that he wanted.
So with 4 minutes and 55 seconds to play in the first quarter, and the Jets up by 7, but the Dolphins knocking on the door. We'll be back after this.
Michelob brings you the 7-day weekend, downbeat style. Whether it's jazz, classical, country, or rock, music and Michelob is always the perfect arrangement, because that smooth and mellow taste helps make any time feel a little like a weekend.
Put a little weekend in your week.
Deadline, Saturday, October 31st at Sears. Weatherwise radial tires are on sale. Sears Best all-season steel-belted radial. Now save 25%. Deadline, Saturday, October 31st at Sears. The Sears Die Hard battery is on sale, now with even more power than ever before. Only $54.99 with trade-in. Save $15. For great automotive values, you can count on Sears.
Oh, how I hated the play.
This is Bob Costas with Bob Trumpy at the Orange Bowl, with the ball resting between the 2 and the 3-yard line. On the left has a 7-0 lead, but that may not last long. What do you think Don Shula has in mind on this play?
I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see him come back with that option again. Why not? It worked very well. You know, you got to feel for Walt Michaels, too. They get on the board 7-0. Once again, a dumb mistake. It's one that you can't coach against. Donald Dykes was just trying to help out the punt returner, Bruce Harper, and they turned the ball over. It's happened to the New York Jets all season long.
2nd and goal. In motion, Nat Moore. They keep it on the ground. Franklin is there.
Yeah.
Loose football. They say that he got across. At least one official says he got across and has his arms upraised for the touchdown.
Now, this is going to be a very crucial call, because the NFL has made changes in the way they call this play. Touchdown, Miami. If he breaks the plane, it makes no difference. If he's in the air or on the ground, it's a touchdown.
So Franklin scores touchdown of his rookie season.
The Jets obviously upset. Let's see if we can see the ball come loose here. A trap up through the middle, placed in the stomach of Franklin. He's got it. Ooh, I'll tell you what, I don't blame the New York Jets for being upset. That ball is loose when he scores. Keep that, producer Roy Hammerman. I don't believe that Andre Franklin was over the line when he lost the football. You saw the middle linebacker come in there, Blinka, and make the hit. And I think that ball was loose before it crossed the line.
Kuchenberg will snap, Strock will hold, and Uwe von Schamann, number 5, will tie the game at 7.
Got a flag down, Bob.
Let's see what the call is going to be. Dick Jorgensen, the referee.
Offsides Miami.
Have to do it again.
How can you be offsides on an extra point attempt?
Walt Michaels could tell you all about penalties. His club the most penalized in the league.
Offense, left guard was lined up in the neutral zone. Another try for the point.
Bob Kuchenberg, number 67, offsides. He should know better than that.
Well, not in this situation, Bob, because he snaps.
Oh, excuse me.
Snaps
I apologize.
on the play.
White Stevenson, 57. Thank you very much, Mr. Costas.
So another chip shot upcoming for Uwe von Schamann. This time they spotted at the 15. And he puts it through just the same. So it was Todd to Bartram to put them up 7-0. The Franklin run and the extra point by von Schamann has tied it, and we'll be right back.
want to buy new cars, not for sheer desire to have a nice new shiny car, because they need a new car. They absolutely need new cars with good fuel economy, and they need value, and they need to get their money's worth. Let's talk about prices, and let's talk about interest rates. The average buyer, I needn't tell this group, has literally been jolted by the so-called, one of you guys coined it, I guess, sticker shock, when he walks into a new car showroom. But he's been jolted even worse when they calculate for him what his monthly payments will be over the next 4 years, 48 months, and that's the monthly payment shock. We're going to try today to declare war on sticker shock. We will hold the price line on Omni and Horizon Miser and custom models, and we will hold the line on the base prices of all of our low-end Aries Reliant 2-door and 4-door models. I never saw a guy who was against saving $800 when he can get a car that's as good as the other guy's car. But we're really proud of the new products we're bringing out.
This is Brian Gumble in New York, and Minnesota, the Bears missed the chance to go into overtime against the Vikings with 1 second left. Hans Nielsen misses from 26. Vikings beat the Bears 24-21. Let's go back to Bob Costas and Bob Trumpet.
Okay, so the Vikings are now 3-2, and the Bears tumble to 1-4. Here we're even up at 7. And Von Schamann to kick off with Kurt Sohn and Kenny Lewis as the deep man.
Kicking against the wind.
Lewis comes up to take it at the 15. And down he goes just across the 20-yard line after only a 6-yard return. Steve Shull, the man who made the fumble recovery a moment ago on the punt, makes the tackle this time.
That doesn't look good.
Now let's watch the touchdown by Andrew Franklin, and to be technical, it's ruled a touchdown run, not a recovered fumble. Watch it.
Okay, has the ball there. I think 54 gets the hit on him. There's Darrell Ray. 54 gets the hit. The ball is loose. I'll tell you what, I think New York has every right to complain about that call. I do not believe that ball was in the end zone, in the possession of anyone. Now, it must be in the possession of someone before it's ruled a touchdown. But nevertheless, it is 7-7.
The Dolphins took it in less than a minute after recovering the fumble, and the big play was the option run by the quarterback, David Woodley. As they attend to Kenny Lewis, we have a timeout on the field. 4 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in the first quarter, tied at 7. Jet ball when we come back.
To all independent business people who are losing their independence to the shackles of business details, IBM offers freedom.
Freedom.
Introducing Data Master from IBM, the small business system that's all business yet starts at under $10,000. A data processor that can be a word processor too. Visit IBM and judge Data Master for yourself. A little IBM can mean a little freedom.
Ah, good choice. The beer with the taste for food. Natural light from Anheuser-Busch. Not too filling, but oh so satisfying. When you're ready, really ready to eat.
What's more natural than natural light?
Sunday, Chip's season premiere. The stunt is suicide. The stunt man is John.
John, you can't, man. It's insane.
Chip's on NBC.
If you can, pick up his right leg. Kenny Lewis, number 20 of the New York Jets. We'll see a flying body come in. It looks like Steve Shull, 52. Watch the right leg. That's a hyperextended knee. Hopefully serious damage, but it's definitely right knee damage. He is off on the sideline under help from his friends.
And now the Jets have the ball back. A week ago, the Miami defense was really roughed up by Baltimore, even though the Dolphins were able to win the ball game by a field goal. They yielded 514 yards in total offense to the Colts. Let's see how close Richard Todd can come to that today. Todd swinging it out, and the catch is made by Augustiniak, and Augustiniak has a first down, picking up about 11 on the play.
New York is doing a good job of mixing up their plays. Augustiniak a year ago was a purchasing agent for a small auto parts warehouse in Indiana. This guy is a rags to riches tale, but you see A.J. Dewey blitzing up there for pass rush, and that means that only Brzezinski is out there for the coverage. There's Roan on the tackle, 55 of the That's 1st and 10.
Todd is 4 of 4 so far for 70 yards. In motion is Bobby Jones, who made the big catch on the last touchdown drive. A play fake, and he fires long, wide open. There's the catch. Wesley Walker, he stumbles down inside the 20-yard line, and Walker burns the Dolphins again.
And, Bob, that has been the problem with the Miami Dolphins defense. 47 yards on the pass, catch, and run. Last week, Ray Butler of the Baltimore Colts almost single-handedly beat them. For some reason, their defensive backs, the Miami Dolphins, are getting no coverage. This is the same play that Bobby Jones caught, fooled our cameraman, which is not easy to do. An excellent reception, worth repeating. Wesley Walker in the last 3 years, 22 catches, 4 for touchdowns against the Miami Dolphins.
They spot the ball right at the 20. Walker, for his career, averages 23 yards per catch. Greatest figures in the history of the NFL. Augustiniak slides through the hole and is down to the 10-yard line.
Surprising.
This is going to be a first down. They're going to spot it inside the 10. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Jets.
One of the great matchups today is we have Joe Fields on Bob Baumhauer. Fields, the center of the New York Jets. Baumhauer, the nose man of the Miami Dolphins. And we got to give the nod there to Joe Fields. He did an excellent job along with Rasmussen and Alexander, the guard. Cleared it out for Augustiniak. He hesitated at the line of scrimmage, let the hole open up, picked up good yardage.
The Todd to Walker pass, by the way, a moment ago covered 47 yards. For Todd, his longest completion of the season.
Audible.
Looking.
Oh!
Touchdown! I don't believe it. Wesley Walker. That ball just fluttered out there, could have been intercepted, and wound up in the arms of Walker for 6.
Todd now 6 for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns. And I'll tell you what, there is no way this ball should be thrown. No way. Look at that duck. And a great catch by Wesley Walker for a touchdown. And the Jets, through the first 4 weeks, have said they've gotten no breaks. Look at this. They got a great break right there.
I don't know if Ed Taylor, number 45, the former Jet, got a finger on it or not, but he overran the ball, and Walker gets the touchdown.
Well,
his 4th touchdown reception of the season.
That's certainly not the way they draw that play up, but nevertheless, they'll certainly take the 6 points. We got movement everywhere here.
The kick by Leahy is good, but let's see what the flags are all about.
Bob, that was an amazing play. There was a linebacker in front of the pass. Ed Taylor had the man covered. It was great individual effort by Wesley Walker. And Richard Todd had the guts to throw it in there, end over end, but nevertheless.
Well, Richard Todd hit Wesley Walker for a couple of touchdowns, 2 of them within the space of 90 seconds last week against Houston. Now he's found him here in the first quarter. For Todd, his 2nd scoring pass of the period.
Contact before the snap. A 5-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. We will
No, the kick was good. The kick was good. Why do you have to re-kick it? I don't understand why you have to re-kick it.
Evidently, the flag went up in the air before the snap, negating the play entirely.
Okay. But then they should put the penalty on the kick right here.
In this situation, I guess they figure the offensive team does not benefit enough because the ball's too close to the goal line as it is.
Well, nevertheless.
The kick by Leahy is good. 2 minutes and 18 seconds to play in the first quarter. The Jets will pick up 5 yards on the ensuing kickoff, and they lead it now by a score of 14-7.
For the past 4 years, the Sylvania Superset has beaten RCA and Zenith in an independent test for best overall color picture.
What about Sony?
And now, for the 5th time, more people once again picked the 19-inch Sylvania Superset over RCA and Zenith for best color picture.
What about Sony?
And this year, we even tested against Sony and won. The Sylvania Superset.
Gas is America's #1 heating system because it's America's most efficient major energy system, most economical too. So when America heats with gas, it saves energy and money. New fuel-saving gas heating equipment can make our most efficient energy system even more efficient and save you even more money. You can be energy efficient too. Use all energy wisely because the future belongs.
Next Saturday, don't miss the exciting return of NBC Sports World, featuring hard-hitting World Championship boxing. Then, 1 week later, the world's finest Grand Prix drivers gather in the heart of Las Vegas for live coverage of the Caesars Palace Grand Prix, starting next Saturday on NBC.
Richard Todd is 6 of 6 for 126 yards so far, and he has hit 5 different receivers: Walker, Jones, Barkham, Gaffney, and Augustiniak.
I wonder if he'll talk to the press after this game. Last week, he didn't talk to the press because they'd been rather rough on his teammates, he and his teammates, the first 3 weeks of the season.
Actually, though, that has been his policy for a few weeks, so he contends it had nothing to do with any specific column or story written about him. Meanwhile, this one is busting out across the 40-yard line. Mike Kozlowski returns it 38 yards, and the Dolphins are across their own 40. Let's see where they'll spot this, at about the 43. Next Sunday, join host Bryant Gumbel for NFL 81, all the highlights, scores, and late-breaking news from all the games. Then regional NFL action featuring 2 long-term rivalries as the Browns meet the Steelers and the Raiders take on the Chiefs in Kansas City. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area next Sunday on NFL 81.
You know, Bob, I got to think that the Miami Dolphins coaching staff, Don Shula and company, do not want to play a second successive game in which they've got to outscore their opponents to win. They did that against Baltimore, and normally, if you win, you're lucky. They need more defense than they've exhibited so far today.
Harris right, Moore left, and the pass goes to Doriel Harris. Harris is into Jet territory for a first down at the New York 41. Jerry Holmes, starting in place of the injured Bobby Jackson at left corner, makes the tackle with help from free safety Darrell Ray.
17 yards on the catch. And Woodley's got good presence here. Looks the safety off and then watches Doriel Harris, a bullet. Harris is averaging 18 yards per catch, but still has yet to down this season.
We're still in the first quarter. 1:35, and the clock is moving.
Good news for New York Jets fans. Kenny Lewis apparently has nothing more than a bruised thigh. Probably will not return. It certainly looked like a very devastating knee injury. Glad to hear that.
Howell and Vigorito line up in the I, and the give is to Vigorito, the second man through. Vigorito 35, 34, and spun down at the 33.
You told me he was a receiver.
Prior to that play.
That's one of the things about a Don Shula coach team in the Miami Dolphins. They find these people, I don't know where. In the case of Vigorito, he's out of Virginia, a rookie 5th-round draft choice. That's rather impressive, 138th player taken in the draft. But somehow Don Shula finds the magic, the one key to open up the potential of all these players and get them out there on the field. They got free agents all over the place, and they play very good football for the Miami Dolphins.
You know, even when they rebuild in Miami, they don't go 4-12, they don't go 5-11. They rebuild at 8-8.
You're right.
And then they're back in playoff contention a year or two later. Andrew Franklin, who scored the Dolphin touchdown earlier in this quarter, struggles to the 30-yard line, but that's enough for a first down.
Watch 99. Gastineau. He is on Laxo today, offensive tackle, and these guys set up for the pass rush. You can see he just kind of leisurely jumped up the field to make sure nothing came wide. But he sacked Ken Stabler last week 4 times. Look at that. And what a hulk. What a hulk. This guy can play.
The Jet defense forced 3 fumbles, had 3 interceptions, and a safety, held Houston at 221 yards a week ago. Woodley off the play fake. Unloads, had a man open and missed him, incomplete.
Nat Moore. Woodley now 3 of 5, 26 yards, and obviously took a bad hit.
Gastineau and Klecko converged on him and hit him just as he delivered.
They will do that to you all day long. Here's Jimmy Cephalo. You want to know why this pass was incomplete? Well, watch Cephalo. Maybe he should have thrown it to Cephalo as opposed to who he was intended to throw it to.
Well, Cephalo was wide open for a possible 6. Moore was wide open for a long gain. Woodley missed them both, and now it's time for Don Strock to warm up.
Now, Strock, as you remember, sat behind Bob Greasy for almost 6 years, 7 years to be exact. And then everyone expected Don Strock to be the walk-on replacement for Bob Greasy. Well, Don Shula, with David Woodley, discovered this raw talent, and Don Strock now sits behind David Woodley. So far this season, he's 7 of 10 for 70 yards and 1 touchdown, 1 interception also. But he's a pocket passer. When you go into a game expecting David Woodley to be your quarterback, suddenly he is hurt Don Strock, now you got to change your thinking all the way around. All the offensive coaches of the Miami Dolphins now got to be thinking something entirely different.
And of course, against this front four of the Jets, which has raised Cain the past couple of weeks, the mobility of Woodley was a very big Dolphin asset.
Excellent point. You are absolutely right. And I'm sure they designed a great many rollouts. And Woodley throws the ball very well on rollouts. I can't see what they're messing with. On David Woodley, the doctors are out there.
Well, he was holding his head, so evidently, at the very least, he got his bell rung. Let's watch it.
All right, from behind the quarterback spot. Gastineau and Klecko, that's a quarterback sandwich. I think he probably just got hit in the sternum or the ribs, compressed his ribs somewhat. Hopefully it's not cartilage damage or something serious. He is walking rather gingerly.
Standing ovation at the Orange Bowl for him as he comes to the sideline.
And that is a devastating blow to the Miami Dolphins. They have him out of there. You can throw away the option now. You can throw away the rollouts. Don Strock is a big kid. He's 6'5", 220, and he is a pocket passer.
Vigorito and Howell are the backs. Strock in his 8th year out of Virginia Tech. Comes in a 2nd and 10 situation with 30 seconds to play in the first quarter. The Jets lead at 14-7. He completes his first pass. Vigorito is the receiver. Vigorito at about the 25. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Well, that's one way to shake the jitters of a quarterback who has been on the bench for a while. Throw the football. Most of the plays for the Miami Dolphins are now called by Don Shula. Bob Greasy, now an assistant coach, probably the highest paid assistant coach in the history of the NFL. Still living out his personal services contract with the Miami Dolphins. And they do the play calling for the quarterbacks.
Shula does not wear the headset, unlike most NFL coaches on the sideline. They'll send the plays through John Sandusky with Greasy's suggestions upstairs, and then he passes them on to Shula. We're coming right back.
Economy. Value for your money. That's what you'll find in all new General Motors cars and trucks at GM dealers. You'll also find a financial institution whose only business is automotive financing. That's GMAC. You know, even when money is tight, credit is available from GMAC and at rates that make good sense. Ask a GM dealer about GMAC, the financing people from General Motors.
Rainmaker to ground. Okay, Rainmaker. What more? How to do it? Raj picking us up a radio. Tell that fire not to go anywhere. Bullseye! You got it. Does that mean it's Miller time? Roger. Over and out.
Well, it's time to relax. One beer stands clear. If you got the time, Miller's got the beer.
Bottom of the 9th, bases, balls, 3-2 pitch.
Radio! Oh, now we won't know the score. None of the scores.
Where's Pete going?
For the latest national sports reports, call Dial It National Sports.
He got the score.
Sure, I called Dial It National Sports.
So who won? Hey, Pete, you want to go deep sea diving?
900-976-1313. Dial it. We're talking to you.
This is Brian Gumlin, New York. Out in Anaheim, the Rams have scored again. Pat Hayden faking into the line with Cullen Bryant. Instead, going to the outside to Wendell Tyler for a 1-yard touchdown. And the Rams are out in front of the Browns comfortably, 14-3 in the second. Let's go back to Bob Costas.
All the photographers are taking shots of David Woodley as they tend to him along the sideline. Don Strock is now on in relief as we begin the second quarter. At the end of the first 15, the Jets lead it by a score of 14-7. 3rd down and a long 5 upcoming for the Dolphins, and the ball just shy of the 25-yard line of the Jets.
I think they're taking him inside.
He is walking along the sideline now. Let's see if they do take him to the locker room. Vigorito and Giaquinto are the backs. Strock needs 5. He lobs one out in the direction of Harris, and it's broken up. Donald Dykes got his hand in there and knocked it away from Duriel Harris.
Good job by Dykes, too, and through the first 4 games, he's been the guy that the other teams have picked on. David Woodley is going into the locker room for x-rays. This is a good lob pass by Strock. Good touch on it, but it's just great coverage using the sideline, Donald Dykes is, as another defender, making sure that if he does catch the ball, he's out of bounds.
Well, now here's Uwe von Schamann, and Strock is going to put it down at the 34-yard line. Woodley departs. Von Schamann for the year is 7 of 10. This is a 44-yard attempt. He is just 1 of 4, however, between the 40 49.
1 of 5. Hit the goalpost. The upright.
Hit the left upright. It was a wobbly kick as it came away. I'm surprised it went that far. It hits the left upright. Von Schaman misses, and the Jets cling to the 14-7 lead. We'll be right back.
You're looking at rust close-up. It's already breeding, building up inside a car radiator after just 10,000 miles on weak, neglected antifreeze. But look at a radiator protected with new improved Prestone 2. Quite a difference. Introducing advanced silicone silicate formula Prestone to lock out rust and corrosion in all metals. And now it's even stronger for better aluminum protection. New Prestone 2, the bestseller just got better.
Follow the bouncing ball next Sunday on NBC Sports.
Von Schaman now 7 of 11 for the year on his field goal attempts. All of his misses have come from roughly this distance. Mark Gastineau almost blocked it. It went right between his hands, and now watch it as it hooks and hits the left upright and bounces away no good.
You know what? That's a pretty good shot. He hit that upright square. That takes some talent. Don't you agree? That's true.
First minute of the second quarter. The Jets with the ball and the 14-7 lead. Freeman McNeil carries. And the rookie from UCLA has 7 yards.
McNeil carries.
Well, it now becomes very imperative if you're a Miami Dolphins fan that the defense rise up, realizing that David Woodley probably will not come back. They're going to have to keep the New York Jets close. 7 points the Dolphins can get. But with Freeman McNeil in there, look at that. 8 yards on the carry, 7.5 yards on the carry. Now 2nd and 2. You and I can call plays in 2nd and 2, Bob.
Took the Jets a while, a couple of weeks before they began using McNeil as liberally as they now do. But you were telling me earlier, you think that this guy, here he is again, McNeil, and he's close to the first down, looks like he has it, that he has a chance to be one of the most dangerous all-round backs in the NFL. We'll pick up on that point when we come back. Let's go to New York.
Okay, Bob, I agree with you on Freeman McNeil, by the way, but out in the Bay, Denver has proved ahead of the Oakland Raiders. Dave Preston from 4 yards out. Broncos out in front of the Raiders, 7-0. Go back to Bob Costas, Bob Trumper.
Bob, let's see if Brian agrees with me on this. I think every time the Jets take Freeman McNeil out of the offensive lineup, they're doing their opponents a great favor. He is that good a running back right now, 5 games into the season.
Both wide receivers on the right side as Augustiniak carries. They open a hole for him. He's across the 40. Gets about 5 on the first down play. Ernest Roan, Miami's top tackler. He's been in on 49 tackles prior to today. 36 of them unassisted. Roan made the tackle.
This is going to be a big test for the Miami Dolphins defense. And I would imagine that now with the score 14-7, and just about everything the New York Jets are doing is good, that we're going to see a lot of Freeman McNeil. Although the Jets have 7 running backs that they bring in and out in special situations, I think they're leaving those 2 guys in there as much of the ballgame as possible.
Johnny Lamb-Jones, who's been bothered by tendonitis in his knee and did not start today, is in a slot on the right. And the pass is complete to Wesley Walker for the first down. Walker out of bounds near midfield.
Wow, Richard Todd is now 7 of 7 for 131 yards. And this is very, very soft coverage by the Miami Dolphins defensive backs. You see the play fake, holds the linebackers slightly at the line of scrimmage. Look how far off this guy is. It looks like it's underneath coverage coming from 47, who is Blackwood. He should be there to support that pass route.
Walker has been bothered by a variety of injuries, some serious, some of the nagging sort, for the past 2 or 3 years. And some observers had speculated that he was getting a bit gun-shy as Augustiniak tries to turn the corner. And Augustiniak gets across the 45-yard line of Miami and turns it into a good gain. But some people had speculated, as we Walker, that he was no longer as aggressive a player as he once was, but he has dispelled those notions the past couple of weeks.
Well, Walker, number 1, is only 179 pounds, if he's that. He may be that the first day of training camp, but he probably plays at about 174 or 175. And you can take a pounding out there catching the ball over the middle, which he is more than willing to do. Second down now, and a yard and a half.
Augustiniak is not supposed to have the kind of speed which enables you to turn the corner, but he got 8 on that play. 2nd and 2 coming up. Freeman McNeil and Tom Newton are the backs. McNeil is asked to get 2 yards. He'll get that and then some. McNeil cutting back and down near the 20-yard line of Miami. A first down for the Jets.
19 yards on a carry by Freeman McNeil. Last week he had an exceptional day, his best so far as a Jet. He carried the ball. Last week he had 9 catches for 82 yards. Well, watch this. Look at that burst of speed. He's not only a tough runner, but that's now 5 carries, 25 yards, and most of that 25 yards right there. I wouldn't take him out. I'd leave him in there.
Well, he gets a breather, and Bruce Harper comes in, joining Tom Newton in the Jet backfield. Now Harper moves over as a wing on the left side. Both wide receivers to the right side. Todd on first down, fires over the middle and incomplete. He had his man Barkham open and just missed connections with it. That's Todd's first incompletion. He's 7 of 8.
Question for you. Why, when you run the ball down the field so very, very well, do you go away from it? I'd keep running it. It's just a point. I just wonder about that. The stat I just gave you, too, on Freeman McNeil last week, that is incorrect. He did not have 9 catches for 82 yards. That's what he has on the season so far.
He ran for 70 yards, though, last week against the Oilers. There's Walt Michaels, whose job security situation has improved markedly the past couple of weeks. I wouldn't block, but it's better than it looked after the first 3 games. Look out, the flea flicker. Harper takes it on the reverse. Augustiniak gave it to him. Miami is not as badly fooled as they might have been. They get 6 on the play.
And a flag goes down, too, Bob. Interesting that the lead blocker on that play, Richard Todd.
Last week, they ran a flea flicker where Augustiniak pitched it back to Todd, and Todd hit Walker in the end zone for a touchdown.
Similar play. We've got face mask penalty against the Miami Dolphins. That'll add another 10 yards onto it. Or actually, it's 5 yards.
5-yard face mask foul, number 48. First down.
5 yards on the face mask means it's an inadvertent face mask. And watch Richard Todd, number 14. We see him try to make a block. Does a decent job on 50, Larry Gordon. And the inadvertent face mask penalty, 1st and 10 on the 10-yard line of the Miami Dolphins for the Jets.
It's possible to get a first down inside the 1. Bruce Harper bangs down inside the 5-yard line with a good pickup on first down. The Jets threatening to go up by 2 touchdowns. Clock moving, 11:20 to play in the first half.
Harper's one of those specialty running backs you were speaking of. And he returns punts, he returns kickoffs. He was the Jets MVP in 1980, led the NFL for the 4th straight year in combined yardage. He can do just about everything but blow up the football.
There he goes to the sideline. When they use him from scrimmage, although the last play doesn't bear this point out, usually it's as a receiver. He caught 50 passes in 1980.
Now they got Augustiniak and Durking in there.
This is Augustiniak, and they wrap him up with a flag down.
Where's McNeil?
Veselu collared him, and let's see what the call will be. Clock stops with 10:49 left. The Jet touchdowns, a pair of passes by this man, number 14, Richard Todd, 1 to Barkham, 1 to Walker. Illegal procedure, New York.
I believe that's what? New York's 2nd penalty of the day? And this is, worth repeating, the most penalized team in the NFL.
They've got a big crowd at the Orange Bowl. It's not quite a sellout, but there are more than 70,000 here. When they have had better than 70,000 at the Orange Bowl, let's listen to Dick Jorgensen first.
Formation. No.
Well, we can't listen to Dick Jorgensen.
The penalty is declined. 3rd down.
The gist of the message is 3rd down upcoming, and the ball pushed back just beyond the 5-yard line. Technically, they can get a first down inside the 1.
That's their first penalty. I thought it was their second, but just their first on the day.
Walker in motion. Todd rolling right. Blockers in front of him. Throws to the end zone. Batted down. Ball loose, and it comes back into the hands of Todd. And Todd winds up at the 5-yard line. Doug Betters, I believe Doug Betters, number 75, whacked the ball back in Todd's face.
Caught his own pass. That doesn't happen very often. Now watch this very closely. 14 on the rollout. His intended receiver, 42. Bruce Harper. Watch what happens. No, it's 59. Brzezinski gets his hand up, comes right back to Todd, and he turns runner. Here's the field goal attempt. No good.
Oh, Pat Leahy misses from short range. Leahy had been 5 of 6 prior to that attempt, and his only miss was a 52-yarder. But this time he misses from short range, and the Dolphins dodge a bullet and are down by only 7 at 14-7. Pat Leahy parading himself on the sideline. 10:06 to play, second quarter.
George said, we're going to buy a Corona portable kerosene heater. And I said, it'll smell funny. It doesn't. I said, it's dangerous. But George showed me the UL sticker. I said, bet it's dirty. It's not. George said, we'll save lots of money on heat. And we have. George is usually wrong, but I gotta admit, he sure knows his hot air.
Cozy up to Corona. Stay warm and safe.
Quality and value in a new American car, you joking. Unfortunately, to many Americans with responsibilities, it's no joke. Plymouth, yes, Plymouth is changing that with the new Reliant K. The highest mileage 6-passenger front-wheel drive car in America. Firm, quiet, built with advanced technology. Plymouth Reliant K. The American way to get your money's worth.
How about that? Don't miss all the explosive action of the National League Divisional Playoffs starting Tuesday night on the home of great baseball, NBC Sports.
Pat Leahy is a 65% career man on his field goals, one of the best marks among active kickers, and he was 5 of 6 this year prior to this attempt. He misses from 23 yards out.
And he knew immediately. Incidentally, that pass from Richard Todd to Richard Todd counted completion and a reception.
So the Dolphins, who moments ago appeared like they would go down 21-7, are now still within a touchdown as Andrew Franklin carries on first down. And we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
Franklin got 5, and it's 2nd and 5 upcoming. NFC Central action. Detroit, which last week beat Oakland, leads Tampa Bay 10-7. And Denver, trying to make it 2 in a row this year over the Super Bowl champions. They beat them in the opener, as you may recall. Broncos lead early 7-0 over the Raiders. They swing it out to Hardy, the tight end, who drags the tackler, Kenny Stroy, as far as he needs to for the first down.
Excellent job by Don Strock of recognizing the defense. That was a blitz by the outside linebacker. That means that the tight end will then be hot. And by hot, I mean, you watch 56 minutes up tight on the coverage. By hot, I mean, if there is a blitz, he is the prime receiver. And he struggles enough to get a first down. The Dolphins must maintain ball possession here to keep their defense off the field. It doesn't appear that the defense can stop the Jets so far this afternoon.
In case you just joined us, David Woodley was belted by Klecko and Gastineau late in the first quarter. And he went to the sidelines. As of yet, we have no official report on his condition, but he walked off very, very slowly, and Don Strock, the veteran, has come on to relieve him.
A lower back bruise is what the diagnosis we understand is.
Howell carried on the play, and Marty Lyons made the tackle.
Well, this will be a good test for Miami and the New York Jets. Their vaunted offense against the Jets' vaunted defensive line. Let's see who wins in this situation.
Tom Vigorito is back in on 2nd down and 6. Strock to the air. He has time. Fires. Got a man open. The catch is and out of bounds. touchdowns inside the Jet 40-yard line by Nat Moore. Moore had gotten off to a slow start with only 5 catches through the first 4 games. 24-yard pickup on that one.
This guy is the Miami Dolphins' all-time leading receiver. He still has not scored a touchdown in 1981, but he is dangerous, he is durable, he's averaged almost 50 catches a year over the last 7 or 8 years, and along with that, 6 touchdowns. And Miami now exploiting the New York Jet defensive backs, which seems to be the weakness of their football team.
And the crowd at the Orange Bowl very much into it. On occasions when they've drawn more than 70,000 here, which appears to be the case today, the Dolphins are 19-2. They swing it out to Harris, who sheds a tackler, and then Dorial Harris is brought down at the 35.
Struck now 4 of 5 for 39 yards total, and that was a great play by Dorial Harris. Struck is a little quick here on the delivery. Now watch the catch that Harris has to make. And then he can't get behind Giesler, 79, the offensive tackle, and the pursuit of the Jets gets out there. 56 Mel with the 5 stitches in his toe from the trainer's locker dropping on it before the game on the tackle.
7.5 minutes to play in the first half. The Jets 14, the Dolphins 7. Vigorito carries on 2nd and 7, and he's yanked down by Mark Gastineau. Jet fans will recall Gastineau exulting over a sacked Kenny Stabler a week ago against the Oilers. He doesn't make any secret about his feelings on the field.
The self-appointed cheerleader of the New York Jets defense. And Bob Greasy, now a coach for the Miami Dolphins, former quarterback, talking to him before the game, and I said, give me 10 words on the New York Jets. He said, they got 4 players I'd start any franchise they'd give me with. Powell, Ward at offensive tackle, Gastineau, Klecko at defensive end. And I said, why? And he says, because they beat each other up in practice, and they're all 4 going to be all pro.
Powell today, he's out with a knee injury. John Roman starting in place of him on the Jet offensive line. This is 3rd down and 12 for Strock and the Dolphins. He fires, he's got a man there, and he missed it. Jimmy Cephalo was open and Strock missed it. Strock is 4 of 6 so far in relief of Woodley.
Slightly overthrown. And that's probably attributable to the fact that Don Strock doesn't work with the first offense. It's David Woodley's responsibility to work with the first offense. And just that split second of timing is off between the second-string quarterback and the starting receiver in Cephalo. But very close. Just about 6-inch fingernails away from being a reception. Now, 3rd punt for Orris of the Miami Dolphins.
His first 2 have averaged out to 37. One of them led to a Dolphin touchdown as the Jets had a mix-up. As they attempted to receive the punt, it led to a fumble. The Dolphins recovered it and went in. Orris is aiming for the coffin corner, but this one goes into the end zone for a touchback. So the Jets will have it at their own 20-yard line. 50-yard punt with no return. 6 minutes and 30 seconds to play. Second quarter, Jets with the ball and the lead.
The 1980 Winter Olympics. Hockey team captain Mike Ruzioni helped clinch the gold for the U.S.
I'm Mike Ruzioni, the artist. Budweiser asked me to paint with these to help raise funds for America's Olympic athletes. Now you can own my painting and help our athletes train for 84. After all, there are a lot of Picassos. There's only one, Ruzioni.
Call 1-800-325-1488 for more information.
10 tough mean beards versus one Bic shaver. Can one Bic shave them all?
Bic, say your prayers. My beard's gonna send this Bic to the shop.
That Bic is gonna beg for mercy.
It's amazing. It looks like one Bic shaver is going to shave these 10 tough beards.
Looks like Bic wins. I got a great shave also. No way. Let me see the replay.
Yes, one Bic shaved these 10 tough beards. How many shaves can you get?
At the Orange Bowl, Don Shula, as coach of the Dolphins, is 70-16. But despite that fact, the Jets have beat him 3 straight times here in his home park.
And 6 straight times over the past 3 years.
The pitch back to Mike Augustiniak. Augustiniak out of Purdue, breaks the tackle, gets maybe 4 yards.
Great play, Bob Brzezinski, outside linebacker, Miami Dolphins, number 59. Shed the block of final score. Earl Campbell had 181 yards rushing on 37 carries. The Houston Oilers were saying today that they would go back to the I formation. is what Earl Campbell is most comfortable doing. Well, it certainly worked. 17-10 over Cincinnati.
Let's make a correction on that punt by Orris. Just before we went to the commercial, we got some figures hastily. It was a 30-yard punt into the end zone by Orris, not a 50-yarder. Todd on second down and 6 with all kinds of time. Now the protection breaks down, and he is sandwiched by Boundhauer and Betters. That had to be good work by the Miami secondary because Todd had plenty of time to find somebody, and everybody was blanketed.
That is the Miami Dolphins' 18th sack of the season, which leads the NFL going into today. Last year, they had 27 total. There's nobody to throw it to. Good coverage, finally, by the Miami Dolphins defensive backs.
Well, they had 17 coming in to lead the league, but the Jets were right behind them with 16.
Yeah, so now the Jets have 17, the Dolphins have 18. The one sack gap on Strott, I believe.
I think he got Woodley earlier.
Yeah, you're right. He got Woodley. Excuse me.
3rd and 12. The ball at the 18-yard line. The clock moving. 5:08 to play in the second quarter. They keep it on the ground. And Augustiniak will not get the first down. He gets perhaps 7 on the play. And Chuck Ramsey will make his appearance and put the ball away for the Jets. And listen to these Dolphins fans.
Augustiniak now for the New York Jets, 6 carries, 31 yards, as Mr. Shula now must go in at halftime in about 4.5 minutes and change his offense somewhat to accommodate the loss of one David Woodley.
Chuck Ramsey now, who has been with a number of NFL clubs before settling in with the Jets, and as a matter of fact played in the old World Football League with Chicago back in 1974. He comes on to punt. 41.5 is by this season. Fulton Walker is waiting deep. They put a big rush on him, but Ramsey booms the kick out of there. Back to the 19 goes Walker to field it. And returns it to nearly the 30. The tackle on the play is made by John Woodring. 4 minutes and 13 seconds to play in the second quarter. It'll be Dolphin ball when we come back. They trail it 14-7.
Let the Radio Shack TRS-80 Model 2 give your business the competitive edge.
Hey, a TRS-80. You bet. And Radio Shack's programs do my accounting, payroll, inventory, even word processing. But was it tough to set up? Not at all. The TRS-80 has low startup costs, requires no formal training, and it's expandable. Saves me time and money, and that's the competitive edge.
The TRS-80 Model 2 from $38.99 only. Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
Denny's introduces the Beefadelphia sandwich. We grill lean beef, juicy and tender. Melt rich mozzarella cheese over the top. Add succulent grilled onions. Cover with a soft French roll. And serve it all for the special introductory price this month of only $2.99. The new Beefadelphia sandwich only at Denny's, where you'll like our prices and you'll love our food.
Next Saturday, don't miss the exciting return of NBC Sports World, featuring hard-hitting World Championship boxing. Then, 1 week later, the world's finest Grand Prix drivers gather in the heart of Las Vegas for live coverage of the Caesars Palace Grand Prix, starting next Saturday on NBC.
Don Shula has been to 4 Super Bowls, one of them with the Colts, 3 with the Dolphins, won 2 of those 3 with Miami.
He was voted the coach of the decade. That is 70s by the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Landry and Knoll certainly were contenders as well, but you couldn't argue too much with the selection of Shula. Scott keeps the ball after the fake and rolls right.
What's that? That certainly cannot be a design play. Don Strock is not
what it is.
It's not known. He is not known for his mobility. You know, on that punt that Ramsey just had 65 yards on the punt against the wind.
Los Angeles jumps in front of Cleveland, 14-3. It's the second consecutive NFC opponent and a tough one for the Browns. They fell behind Atlanta last week, then roared back to win, but Cleveland was at home on that occasion.
2nd down and 12.
We're having some trouble with our punt figures so far today. I believe the Ramsey kick was 55 or 56 rather than 65. In any event, a long one.
Do we agree it was against the wind?
against the wind. No question
good.
about that. It was more than 50. Anything more precise than that, we'll have to wait. Strzok airs one out deep. Oh, what a catch! A great diving catch on the play. Matt Moore pulls it in.
Moore has had 5 receptions through the first 4 games. Now 2 receptions, this one for 46 yards. This is beautifully thrown by Don Strzok. He's with him all the way. Watch his concentration on the football. I don't believe you could cover him any better. That's Donald Dykes on the coverage. He's the guy that they've been picking on. And you can't fault his coverage. He is there. He is right where he's supposed to be. This is just a fine throw and an outstanding catch by Matt Moore. 2 catches now, 69 yards on the day. Wow.
And that one good for 46. Franklin and Howell are the backs. Inside 3 minutes to... Now Strzok motions Franklin over a couple of steps. Goes to the air on first down. Oh, almost intercepted.
Jimmy Cephalo, 81, broke the pattern.
Jerry Holmes had a crack at it.
Apparently, there was some miscommunication there because Cephalo broke the pattern. He went down the field 3 yards, took 1 step in, and stopped. And that is a no-no for any receiver because the quarterback is not throwing to a person. He is throwing to a spot. Strzok now 5 of 8, 107 yards. I think he's trying to explain what happened.
Bobby Jackson is in the game now for the Jets, wearing number 40. He did not start because of a calf injury, but now Donald Dykes has gone out, and Jackson is in at his corner. So Jackson and Holmes are the corners now for the Jets. 2nd and 10 from the 26 as Strzok completes it. It'll be first down and goal to go. Jackson had the coverage, and Harris made the catch.
This has been the problem of the Jets defense. They allow about 199 yards passing per game. And this is just a great individual effort by Duriel Harris. Man-on-man coverage by Jackson, and Harris just beat him. A good bullet, too, by Strzok. 1st and 10, 15 yards on the catch now for Duriel Harris.
Harris came into the game with 11 receptions for an average of just under 18 yards this year. Clock is down to 2:43 as the Dolphins go after the tying touchdown, and Franklin gets a couple of yards at most. Marty Lyons wrapping him up. For Franklin thus far, 8 carries for just 15 yards.
And you know, the Miami Dolphins have rushed for just 22 yards in the first half, which is something that Don Shula does not like to do. He likes to run the ball a great deal. They average about 145 yards per game. Last week, 119 against the Colts. He would rather run the ball than throw it.
If they keep it on the ground here, we'll get the 2-minute warning after this next play. 2:05 as Strzok calls the signal. Well, they'll put it in the air, and it'll still come down inside 2 minutes.
Oh!
Almost intercepted by Holmes.
My goodness. That's a 100-yard interception return if he can hang on to the ball.
And stay in bounds.
This is very, very close to being the ultimate disaster for a quarterback. He's looking all over the place. In desperation, throws it out here. Watch out close. Oh, my goodness. That was... Whoa. Look at Lance Mel. Oh, hands on helmet. Well, you'll get another chance, Mr. Holmes.
Holmes is kicking himself, but if he had pulled that off, it would have been a heck of a play. It wasn't a cinch by any means.
He's normally a nickelback, too. There's Mr. Sean. I'm sure Don Shula is exhorting him, listen, don't do that again. 1:57 left to go in the half. We have the 2-minute warning, I believe.
Yeah, we are at the 2-minute warning. 14-7. The Jets are in front. If the Dolphins can go into the locker room with this game tied, they got to feel awfully good about it because a few moments ago they were in danger of going down 21-7. Now they're knocking on the door for a possible tie, and we'll come back after this.
A time comes when you must watch your money carefully, so quality and value are a necessity. Can you find them in an American car? Absolutely. In Plymouth. Yes, Plymouth. The new Horizon Miser, built with advanced technology and front-wheel drive for the best gasoline economy of any American car. 5-passenger Horizon Miser has a price that's sensible. It's the American way to get your money's worth.
What's more natural than spicy hot food? An icy Beer. Ah, what's more natural than natural light from Anheuser-Busch? It's the beer with a taste for food. So, when you want to put out the fire,
What's more natural than natural light?
As Pittsburgh wins their third in a row after an 0-2 start, Terry Bradshaw completed 19 of 28 for 276 yards. Dave Wilson started at quarterback for the Saints, who are now 1 of 4. He was 12 of 19, but had 4 passes intercepted by the Steelers. All right, a third and goal situation coming up. Some motion along the line, flags fly, struck to the end zone. There's the touchdown to Matt Moore.
Defense offside, 73. Touchdown will count. Strock now 7 of 11, 111 yards. And so far, Matt Moore has been their secret weapon. That was his first touchdown reception in 1981. We'll watch 73 jump into the neutral zone right there. Free play for the Miami Dolphins. They certainly take advantage of it. Once again, a bullet by Don Strock, who is doing an outstanding job in relief of David Woodley. Nat Moore for 6.
And now Uwe von Schamann comes on out of a hold of Strock. He's 11 of 11 on his conversion tries this year. If he makes it a dozen in a row, this game will be tied at 14 with 1:51 left, and that's it. With Jimmy Cephalo, Moore has caught 3 passes for 78 yards in this first half. The Jets will get the ball on the kickoff when we come back after this.
Hi, I'm Don Bessler of the Miami Dolphins. I grew up on a military base for 22 years. I know how important it is to these kids to have youth recreation.
Don Bessler has seen the work of youth agencies that help build strong foundations for young people. He knows that through the Red Cross and the USO, United Way is helping the men and women of our armed services. Dependent Youth Association provides programs for military personnel and their families. One thing that Don likes about United Way is that when you give, you know it's helping all kinds of people. There are thousands of United Way agencies across the country which provide recreation and character-building programs and services. Solid agencies helping to build solid futures for our leaders of tomorrow.
You know, through United Way agencies, we're building a lot of foundations for young people, thanks to you. It works for all of us, the United Way.
The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. The only word we have on David Woodley, an injury to his lower back. He is in the locker room, has not come out at all since going to that locker room about 20, 25 minutes ago, and von Schamann booms one, which Kurt Sohn has no intention of returning. Jet ball at the 20. Whether or not Woodley can play in the second half, we don't know yet, but considering the way Strock has played in relief of him, I would doubt that Shula would bring Woodley back.
Well, except that eventually I do believe the New York Jet defensive line is going to take its toll on that offensive line. They are great pass rushers, the New York Jet defensive line is. And if they put pressure on Woodley and come up with an interception or two, then you're going to certainly hope that David Woodley can come back in the ballgame, because I repeat, Don Strock is not a very mobile quarterback.
Wide receiver attack now for the Jets. Newton and Harper are the running backs. Todd to the air on first down. Pumps one over the middle, incomplete off the hand of Newton, and a flag is down on the play.
Looked like disorganization there by the New York Jets. They had trouble getting in their formation. Todd now 8 of 10 for 130 yards. Illegal procedure, the New York Jets. Here we go. How many penalties is that on the New York Jets now? I think it's just their second of the day. They're averaging about 10 or 11 penalties per game.
Formation offense. There was no end on the line of scrimmage. Decline, second down.
Walt Michaels, 3 and 11 in his first season, 1977 as Jet head coach, then 8 and 8 the next 2 years, 4 and 12 in 1980. Trump, do you know when the last time was that the Jets had a winning season? Not just 500, but a winning season? As Tom Brooks tucks it in, takes off, and skips out of bounds, shy of the 30, which is where they need to go for the first down. It'll be third and a long one coming up after a scamper of 8.
Gee, I'd be guessing. I would say 1969.
1969 would be a very good guess. The year after the Namath Super Bowl championship, that's the last time they won more games than they lost in a season. They've had some 500 years, but never better than that. Tuesday night, playoff fever hits the National League as the Dodgers meet the Astros in the division series. The best-of-5 battle for the National League West Crown begins at 8 Eastern Time, right here on NBC, the home of great baseball. And the word is that a shattered kneecap is going to keep Don Sutton out of that best-of-5 and obviously out for the rest of the year, no matter how far the Astros go. And he would have loved to have competed in postseason play against his old Dodger teammates. Tom Newton gets the first down to the Jets with a minute and a half left and the clock running.
Quick huddle now by the Jets. Play will be called at the line of scrimmage by Richard Todd. They get any kind of points here. They can salvage this first half. Newton.
He's got him. Newton's struggling with Blackwood wrapped around him out near the 40-yard line.
Let's see what Miami has in there. It appears that they have 2 linebackers and 6 defensive backs, which a lot of people now refer to as the dime, with the nickel being 5 defensive backs. Todd now 9 of 11, 136 yards.
The Jets took a timeout, which was the first that they've used in this first half, so they still have 2 remaining. A minute and 11 seconds to play until intermission. The game tied at 14. Keep in mind the Dolphins have been very vulnerable this year against the long pass. Stabler to Burrow burned them for 71. Jones to Ray Butler, good for 67 and a score. And Todd has hit both Wesley Walker and Bobby Jones long in this first half.
Once again, you see no middle linebacker in for Miami, and it is a 4-2-6 configuration. It can't be 4-2-6, 4-1-6 configuration.
If you can get away with a 4-2-6 configuration, however, it probably worked to your advantage.
Well, I never was very good at mathematics. But anyway, they had a bunch of guys back there in coverage.
Each club has 2 timeouts remaining. At the moment, that's of more concern to the Jets than the Dolphins. The ball at the 39. We're at 2nd down and 4.
Well, there's no reason to hurry here for the Jets, and they're in good shape. A minute and 11 seconds left. 2 timeouts. Be patient.
Todd is pumping one out deep, intended for Lamb Jones, and Lamb takes a tumble after the pass sails over his head. He's been bothered, as we mentioned earlier, by tendonitis in his knee. Last year, a lot of people termed Jones's rookie season a disappointment, and I guess with all the ballyhoo, the number 2 man selected in the draft, but he did catch 25 passes for an average of 19.3 a reception.
He is a world-class sprinter, too. You don't want to get in a foot race with that kid. Well, now, the Jets have got to pick up the first down. A minute and 5 seconds to go in the first half.
3rd and 4. One of those 9 Todd completions went to himself as the ball was batted back in his face. Got good time, and now that time breaks down, and Todd cannot scramble out of the trouble. A flag goes down on the play. Well, the Jet offensive line held the Dolphins out as long as you could reasonably expect, but Todd couldn't find a receiver.
And the Dolphins were rushing just 3 defensive linemen, too. The other 8 back in coverage. Let's see who the flag will be on.
Here's Dick Jorgensen.
Illegal procedure, probably declined. I would expect the Miami Dolphins to rush the punter.
Illegal. Left guard. Offense. Decline. 4th down.
Baumhauer, Alabama versus Alabama on Richard Todd.
Tom Vigorito now drops back as the deep man. He's the guy who won a Dolphin record 87 for a touchdown with a punt return against the Steelers in that Thursday night game here. Chuck Ramsey to punt for the Jets.
It appears they're setting up for a return as opposed to trying to block the punt.
The Dolphins have 2 timeouts left. 55 seconds on the clock. We're tied at 14. There is no rush. You're right, Bob. It's a wobbly kick, and they're going to let it roll, and it takes a good Jet bounce and roll down inside the 15-yard line.
Good job by Ramsey kicking it away from the deep man, Vigorito.
So Ramsey's punt is good for 46 yards with no return, and the clock is now stopped with 41 seconds to play in the first half. And Miami with a chance, possibly, if they can put something together quickly, for the first time today. The Dolphins have never led.
I wouldn't. I think if I were Don Shula, I wouldn't be too anxious to put it up. And 14-14 at halftime. There's no reason to panic right here. Let's be very patient with what we're going to do.
Well, Shula has not had a happy expression on his face throughout the first half. He's been ranting and raving on that sideline all game long.
Do you know any head coach who does? He's telling 46 Besselou, catch the football, son. They got 15 yards roll.
So now that they are backed up deep in their own territory, let's see what Shula elects to do. They keep it on the ground. They give this to Franklin. Franklin eludes the tackler. Also has to elude the official. Loose football as he's hit, but the Dolphins fell on it.
And the Miami Dolphins take a timeout.
Miami now has one timeout remaining with 25 seconds left. The numbers on Franklin, 9 carries for 24 yards.
All right, Coach Costas. What are they talking about down there? Where they're going to go to dinner after the game?
I think they're discussing whether or not they want to try to put one up here. You risk an interception unless you throw it long, and you're back in Leahy's field goal range almost immediately if the Jets pick off a short or medium range pass.
I would have to think, though, that you wouldn't take a timeout to consider running the ball up the middle. Maybe you throw it down field and hope for a pass interference. This is the most penalized team in the NFL, the New York Jets. Stranger things have happened. Strock can throw the ball. He has an unbelievably strong arm. 6'5", 220 pounds. It looks like the passing backs are coming in, so maybe they'll go with a short screen and hopefully run it for 78 yards. I don't know.
Franklin goes out. Vigorito and Giaquinto are in.
Who?
Nick Giaquinto, second year Connecticut.
Giaquinto and Vigorito are in the backfield?
Giaquinto was cut by the Dolphins earlier this year, then brought back when a wave of injuries hit their running back corps. Tony Nathan out, Woody Bennett out for the season. Strock now looking to put it up. Well, you called it. They screened it out. Oh, Giaquinto gets a rude how do you do.
Great tackle by Bobby Jackson.
Taken by Giaquinto.
This is well set up. The Jets go with a 34 defense. Look at Gastineau push blacks all over the place. And the hit by Jackson. That'll take your breath away. As a matter of fact, he's still down on the ground trying to catch his breath.
Well, Miami takes a timeout now with 8 seconds to go, and they have no timeouts remaining. Giaquinto departs, much the worse for wear. Bobby Jackson, playing hurt, did not start this game because of the calf injury. But as if he's 100% right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've been in that situation, too, where you get hit in the stomach like that, and you swear you're never going to draw a breath again. I mean, it's just... That smarts. And then to add to it, he drives him to the ground with his shoulder right in the stomach. And you just think that I'll do anything. I'll quit football if you just let me take one breath.
Well, they lose one, so it's 3rd and 4 with 8 seconds to go. They call a timeout, and the only thing they can possibly have in mind is throwing the bomb, hoping for either the touchdown or the pass interference, which would stop the clock and give Von Schaman enough time to get out on the field and kick one.
That's somewhat out of character of Don Shula. He very seldom just gives the ball up for grabs.
Then why take the timeout? They could have just let the clock run out.
I think they had to because of the injury. I think they had to take the timeout because of the injury. And the new rule in the NFL is inside the 2 minutes, if you've got an injured player, you're charged the timeout.
You're exactly right. As a matter of fact, we had that last week.
That's correct.
In our game between the Steelers and the Patriots. Larry Anderson went down inside 2 minutes to play, and they had to take a timeout. If there's more than 2 minutes to go, the officials will call it for you. But this is designed to prevent fake injuries to stop the clock. Rest assured, Giaquinto was not kidding. Once again, Mr. Trumpy's analysis is correct. They keep it on the ground. Vigorito carries, and time will run out as he gets out to the 30-yard line.
I'd say that's a very good half for both football teams. With the inability of the Miami Dolphins to run the football, and they are still in the ball game at 14-14, I think both coaches have to be very happy.
So the Miami Dolphins, who are 4-0, and the Jets, who are 1-3, but have beaten the Dolphins 6 straight times, are tied at halftime.
Gee, Ollie, this windshield's so messy, I can't see. We need new wiper blades.
I know that.
Make sure your windshield wipers work when you need them. A new set of Anco wiper blades every year is a quick expensive way to see your way clear.
Ollie, without new anchor wipers, we could have been hit by that piano. Piano? No!
We're Exxon. We're Jay Stone and Joe Mifsud, who designed a better machine to help find oil and gas. We're Harry Bennett, using it to send vibrations miles into the earth that bounce back to reveal where energy may be hiding. We're Brian Olivier, recording this seismic information so that we can choose the best place to drill. We're more than 100,000 people working on energy. We're Exxon. The best is yet to come on NBC Sports, beginning with spectacular playoff action, featuring exciting divisional and league championship games. Our proof that the home of great baseball is right here on NBC. Plus, the premiere of NBC Sports World, with hard-hitting World Championship boxing and the world's finest Grand Prix drivers battle live for auto racing's most coveted title in the Caesars Palace Grand Prix. Plus, our continuing coverage of the best teams, color, and excitement of NFL football. All for you on NBC Sports.
Richard Todd has hit Jerome Barkham and Wesley Walker for touchdowns for the Jets. For the Dolphins, rookie Andrew Franklin has a touchdown run, and Don Strock connected with Nat Moore for the other TD. We're tied at 14, and NFL 81 halftime activities continue in a moment as we come back after these messages from your local station.
Chip's season premiere. The stunt is suicide. The stunt man is John.
John, you can't, man. It's insane.
Then a world premiere portrays the first white to play football for an all-black college. Grambling's White Tiger. Right after the Chip season premiere, Sunday on NBC.
There are horses. And horses. And horses. Just as there are many types of companies you can invest in. This man knows. He's Bob Brennan, president of First Jersey Securities, a full-service investment firm that specializes in finding emerging growth companies with an eye for the future. First Jersey Securities, one of America's fastest-growing investment firms. Come, grow with us.
American Airlines thinks a business traveler has no business waiting in line. After line, after line. That's why American gives you only one check-in line where you can get boarding passes for your entire trip, instead of extra lines. Even pre-reserved seating up to 11 months in advance, instead of waiting in more lines. So what are you waiting for?
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
No people enjoy more than the Japanese. And no company is more responsible for this than Pentax. Because Pentax has made over 20 major innovations in the development of the 35mm camera, which is why Pentax has sold more 35mm SLR cameras than any other company in Japan or in the world.
Mary's tax return is audited tomorrow at 4:30.
Good evening, I'm Carol Jenkins.
And I'm Ralph Penza. Welcome to this special halftime edition of News 4 New York. And at the top of the news, a sports story. Joe Torre was fired today as manager of the New York Mets baseball team. Torre managed the Mets longer than any other manager in Mets history. He lasted nearly 5 seasons, but the team continued to languish in last place. And Torre was told about his dismissal today before the Mets' final game of the season against the Expos at Shea Stadium. Ironically, the Mets won. No replacement for Torre has been picked as yet.
Polish New Yorkers preoccupied with the troubles in their homeland got a breather today with a joyous parade up Fifth Avenue. More than 100,000 people marched in the annual Pulaski Day parade with an equal number of spectators. Back in Poland, leaders of the Solidarity Union continue to complain about the latest round of food and tobacco price increases. While here, a Polish hero of an earlier era was honored in New York, Brigadier General Casimir Pulaski, who died at the Battle of Savannah in the American Civil War.
Communists are trying to crack down on them. You know, they're trying to suppress the people, you know, but never do that.
How do you feel about that?
I feel very bad, but I'm sure the Polish people will prevail. They always have.
So why are you out here today?
Well, I'm Polish, and I'm showing my support for Solidarity.
A group of Irish New Yorkers gathered in Madison Square Garden today to protest the bagpipe performance of the British Army's Royal Scots Dragoons. And even though the IRA has now called off its hunger strikes in Northern Ireland's Maze prison, these demonstrators plan to continue their support for Northern Ireland's cause. It's reported that London may now make some concessions to the Maze prisoners. Well, a theory about the assassination of President John Kennedy was disproved today. An autopsy of the remains taken from the grave of Lee Harvey Oswald showed the skeleton was that of Oswald. A British author suspected that Kennedy was killed by a Russian agent who had assumed Oswald's identity.
Closer to home, a graduate student at Columbia University has been arrested here in New York. He is charged with stealing some rare books valued at $2 million. They were taken this summer from the library at the University College in London. The suspect is John Papanastasiou. He lives in Manhattan. A couple of thousand marathon runners completed more than 15 miles in Central Park today, but it was only a tune-up. The runners were just sampling the course in preparation for the annual New York Marathon. 16,000 marathoners will take part in that 26-mile race. It is set for the 25th of this month. Today's winner was Vince Fleming of Boston, a record time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 44 seconds. It was a terrific day to be outdoors running or casually strolling, soaking up the autumn sunshine. The temperature made it into the mid-60s, and right now it is 62 degrees. Tonight it should be fair with a low down to about 50. Look for more sunshine tomorrow. High 71 we're promised. So today's great weather should continue into the work week.
In home team sports, as we reported earlier, Mets manager Joe Torre was fired today before the final game of the season. The Mets went on to whip Montreal 2-1 at Shea in the last day of the regular season. The Orioles beat the Yanks 5-2. In football, the Giants were upset by Green Bay 27-14. Halftime in Miami. It's the Jets 14 and Miami 14. It's a tie that will resolve itself.
Good luck to Joe. After all, he didn't do such a bad job when you think about that. Join Ralph and me.
Right. And Carol, too, at 11 for all the news of the day. We'll see you then.
Good evening.
This has been a presentation of News 4 New York.
Atari brings the computer age home. Ready? Bonjour. Not quite translate. Learn a new language or take your best shot at Missile Command. With an Atari 400 home computer, there are a world of possibilities. In fact, it could even change your life.
Bonjour, grand-mère, grand-mère. Comment allez-vous?
The Atari 400 home computer. We brought the computer age home.
You're looking at the face of one of the most beautiful women in the world. Her skin magnified 6,000 times. That's better. You're now inside a carburetor looking at dirt. Dirt that could impede your car's performance. Fortunately, you can wash dirt away before it accumulates. With mobile detergent gasoline. That's better.
That good. Ooh, you got style and perfection. The Jordache collection is you. Doing the time, hanging around, doing whatever you do. Ooh, you got to do it. Ooh, you got that Jordache do.
Available at Macy's Bambergers.
So far, Daily News Super Zingo has been won by 639 players, including this week's first prize winner, James Carson.
$50,000, and it's all mine.
639 Zingo winners versus only 9 announced Wingo winners in Wingo's first 2 weeks. So, Super Zingo couldn't be better? Not so fast, because now there's Super Zingo plus Instant Zingo, an extra $3,000 prize that'll be won every ding-dong day. Play to join the hundreds of Zingo winners every week with a $3,000 extra prize every day. Zingo plus Instant Zingo in the Sunday Daily News.
This 1981 National Football League game is brought to you by Schlitz, the Master Brewer's Brew. Just one taste and you'll know. Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer. By the new Chrysler Corporation. For 1982, Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By RCA Video Disc. Bring the magic home on RCA. And by IBM Office Products Division. Now let's go to New York and join Brian Gumble.
Okay, thank you.
Custis, for those of you who may have broken away for local news, this is the 5th Sunday of NFL action, trying to get you caught up on the scores and some of the highlights. Out in Foxborough, the Patriots finally got one in the win column. Main man was Matt Cavanaugh. He threw for a touchdown, and here in a 4th and 1 situation, rolled in from 8 yards for another score. Patriots a winner over the Chiefs final, 33-17. The Baltimore Colts lost their 4th straight. They're second to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills a winner today, 23-17. Big day for running back Joe Cribbs. He had 157 yards rushing. Dallas Cowboys were upset by the St. Louis Cardinals on a Neil O'Donoghue field goal with 23 seconds left. Another big play in the game was this one. Jim Hart to Roy Green. If you like nice catches, put this one in your scrapbook. Final, 20-17. Out in Washington, Bill Walsh and the surprisingly strong 49ers advanced their record to 3-2. The Redskins fell to 0-5, thanks in great part to the efforts of Dwight Hicks. Terry Metcalf loses the handle. Hicks takes it the other way, 80 yards for a touchdown. So had an interception return for another score. The Redskins losers to the 49ers, 30-17. Both the Giants and the Packers are now 2-3 after 5 weeks because in New Jersey today, the Packers beat the Giants 27-14. Here's a familiar face, unfamiliar uniform, John Jefferson, scoring his first touchdown for Green Bay. Out in Houston, the Oilers turned back the Bengals 17-10. Most dramatic play in that ball game was turned in by the smallest man on the field, Carl Roaches, out of Texas A&M. Took this kickoff on his own 5-yard line, got some room from his blockers down the right side, went 95 yards the other way. His bigger teammate, Earl Campbell, had to get his in chunks. 37 carries, 181 yards rushing. Oilers win over the Bengals 17-10. And in New Orleans, Chuck Noll and the Pittsburgh Steelers locked horns with an old nemesis in Bum Phillips. Terry Bradshaw's 276 yards through the air was the difference. Steelers turned back the Saints in that ball game. Another final, 20-6. In Bloomington, the Bears have not won since 71. They won't do it until 82 at least because they lost to the Vikings 24-21. All those are finals. Game still in progress. Rams are beating the Browns 14-3 on the coast early in the 3rd period. As you know, Jets and Miami at the half are deadlocked at 14. Denver has now moved out in front of the Oakland Raiders 10-0 in the Bay Area. That one early in the 3rd period. Seattle, San Diego. San Diego winning by 3 also early in the 3rd period. And Tampa Bay out in front of Detroit. It's 14-10 at the half. We'll be going back to Miami for a second half right after this commercial break.
It's time to bring some sanity and reason to new car prices. For 1982, Chrysler Corporation is offering some of its most popular front-wheel drive, high-mileage cars at 1981 prices. For 82, Chrysler introduces the lowest price 6-passenger front-wheel drive cars, America's lowest priced 5-passenger front-wheel drive cars, and the lowest priced full-size pickup. For 82 cars, 81 prices, come to Dodge or Chrysler Plymouth.
Some people thought it was risky to taste test my Schlitz against other top beers on live TV. But not our people here at Schlitz. We figured a lot of beer drinkers would pick Schlitz over their beer. And they did. Second hopping rush? Right. In my 40 years as a master brewer, I've never been more proud of my people or my beer. We'll keep brewing great beer, so more of you will keep choosing it. Taste our Schlitz.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer.
IBM makes a text processor that's easy to use.
It's as easy as blueberry pie.
Easy because the IBM Display Writer shows you how to edit.
It's as easy as pie.
Check your spelling.
It's as easy as pie.
Do math.
It's as easy as pie.
And now, electronic filing and reports. IBM Display Writer system.
It's a piece of cake.